I'm Christopher Zweig, and this week on CJ at the Movies, I review the Despicable Me sequel-prequel Minions the Rise of Gru with the voices of Steve Carell, Taraji P. Henson, and Alan Arkin, the made-for-Netflix drama Beauty, Jenny Slate as the voice of Marcel the Shell with Little Shoes On, and Freida Pinto in the diverse period piece Mr. Malcolm's List. Let's take a look. Our first movie is Minions the Rise of Gru, the sequel-prequel to the Despicable Me franchise, and I must say, as a fan, I was truly disappointed in how so little they did with the plot of young Gru crossing paths with the wrong people, a group of supervillains known as the Vicious Six. Steve Carell is back in the voice role of Gru, while Taraji P. Henson voices the lead villain, Bell Bottom.
You seriously think a puny little child can be a villain?
Yes, I am pretty despicable. You don't want to cross me?
Come back when you've done something evil to impress me. He took the stone! There's that little thief! Go!
Then Gru gets kidnapped and taken to San Francisco, so his minions head over there to get trained to fight back by a kung fu artist and masseuse voiced by Michelle Yeoh.
Teach kung fu por smoochy smoochy.
I will teach you.
The best thing about the movie is when Alan Arkin comes in as the Vicious Six's former leader who gets stabbed in the back and meets young Gru, but the problem with Minions the Rise of Gru is how routine, predictable, and underwritten its ideas get. They get the Vicious Six voiced by some of the biggest action movie names like Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren, who are all given little dialogue to work with, and the Minions don't do anything special. In fact, they're treated as clowns, only here to entertain the kids. They can do better than that. This is the weakest of the Despicable Me movies. Our next movie is Beauty, the made-for-Netflix drama written by Lena Waithe, who expresses her lesbianism quite well in the late 80s, but can't seem to find any depth or humanity in the story about a young singer who is forced to sign a contract that will guarantee her fame by her greedy and religious parents played by Giancarlo Esposito and Niecy Nash, and Sharon Stone plays the record executive.
I don't know how to sing black, white. I just know how to sing. Because that's what I like to do.
Do you know what they do to stars? They build you up just so they can tear you down.
That, of course, is newcomer Grace Marie Bradley as the young singer, and she gives a fine performance in the role because of how she uses her words as a strong woman, but Beauty didn't really work for me. It was rather dull and routine instead of being profound and poignant as some of the best African-American dramas in recent years. I also felt the movie should have taken us deeper inside the world of how images must be kept for celebrities because of her sexual interests and the period the story takes place in. The result is a movie with wise performances but very little payoff. Our next movie is Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Jenny Slate has had a number of voice roles in movies like Zootopia and The Secret Life of Pets and shows like Big Mouth and The Great North, but before them, she and her ex-husband Dean Flesherkamp made a short film that went viral and now it expands into a feature film that combines stop motion with live action. Slate voices Marcel, a boy shell who lives with his grandmother voiced by Isabella Rossellini, both of whom are interviewed by the director who helps the shell find his long-lost family.
I find my mind wandering, thinking, what would my family think? Do you think they could be out there?
Marcello, let's forget about being afraid. Just take the adventure.
Okay, let's do it.
Marcel the Shell with Shoes On features one of Slate's best vocal performances in the way she presents the sentimentality of this little shell who has a lot to learn about life and is given wise advice from his grandmother and the director. It's a beautiful and hilarious movie that shows the human qualities inside Marcel and allows us to support his journey along the way. This is one of the year's best films. And our last movie is Mr. Malcolm's List, yet another delightful period entry with colorblind casting and modern-day themes. The time is England in the 1800s, and we meet the wealthy heir, Mr. Malcolm, played by Sophie Derisoux, who seeks a bride and makes a list of the qualifications the women must meet. His latest date is Julia, played by Zoe Ashton, who gets rejected and humiliated by him, up to the point of enlisting her cousin Selena, played by Freida Pinto, to teach him a lesson.
I would love for Mr. Malcolm to receive the comeuppance he deserves. Plus, it could be rather fun. If we present you as the perfect woman, then he discovers he does not meet the requirements on your list. That would be a perfect sort of poetic justice.
As the plan goes into effect, Selena begins to fall in love with Mr. Malcolm and doesn't see him the way Julia does.
And you believe this description of me? He was very impressed by her wit and humor.
I must be nearsighted.
May I assist?
Selena, it is working.
Why did you come to London, Miss Dalton?
Because I was lonely.
I was lonely too before you came.
Parts of the movie seem routine, but Mr. Malcolm's List knows when to be whimsical and serious in terms of trying to give these novel characters the meaning of true love and how things change over time. It has personality checks, turning points, and what love has to do with them, and the performances from all the leads are excellent in the ways they only care about the life they put into their roles. Movies and shows with colorblind casting are fun, so check it out! To recap this week's new movies, thumbs down for Minions: The Rise of Gru, a disappointment in the Despicable Me franchise. Thumbs down for Beauty, which shares its affection for lesbianism and music in the late 80s, but not much else. But thumbs way up for Marcel the Shell of Shoes On, starring the voice of Jenny Slate, as a boy Shell who is on the quest for his long-lost family and what life can bring to him. It's a wonderful movie. And thumbs up for Mr. Malcolm's List, a whimsical period piece that loves diverse casting and the meaning of love. Well, those are the movies I'm reviewing this week. I'm Christopher Zweig. Stay safe, and I'll see you at the movies. For more amazing content, please like and subscribe to my channels. You can also read my reviews at cjatthemovies.com and download the new HD Radio app.